Greetings, Matthew Lasar here. Here's something you ought to know about me. I've been a history teacher, a U.S. history teacher, for a really long time. And often, in just about every class I've ever taught, some students come to me after class and they ask me the same question. And that question is, who is your favorite president? And I always have to tell them, kind of disappoint them, by telling them that I don't have a favorite president. And they always say, why not?
Yeah! Why not?
Supposing for argument's sake I had a favorite president. If so, it would be one of these three: Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or Lyndon Johnson. Let's start with Lincoln. On January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He signed it in the third year of the American Civil War. An executive order, it said that, quote, all persons held as slaves in the states that rebelled against the Union are and henceforward shall be free. The Emancipation Proclamation is one of the great presidential actions of United States history. Black Americans and white Americans in the North danced in the streets at the news that he had signed the document. It changed the mission of the Union Army. Now its job was not just to defeat treason, its task was to destroy slavery. But as many historians have noted, Lincoln took a long time to get to that point. 2 years before becoming president, Lincoln plainly told an audience in Charleston, Illinois, that, quote, there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. At the start of the conflict, he proclaimed that if he could end the war without ending slavery, he would choose that option. Less than 6 months before signing the Emancipation, Lincoln met with a group of black leaders and told them that the solution to America's racial problems was for black people to leave the United States for the African state of Liberia or someplace in Central America. Historians have defended Lincoln's comments, claiming them as necessary to gradually win over northern white public opinion before signing the Emancipation.
But it's still hard for me to get past Lincoln's, declarations of physical inferiority for black people and him suggesting that they should leave North America, even though most of them had lived in North America and their families had lived in North America for centuries.
So let's just say that Lincoln did one of my favorite things, but I can't call him a favorite president. Next, Franklin Roosevelt. FDR is remembered, of course, for his New Deal, which included legalizing unions and creating Social Security. He's also praised for his steadfast leadership in the battle against fascism in Europe, and I love that he did all that and more. But Roosevelt is less remembered for the fact that much of the New Deal was racially segregated, that his administration ignored the epidemic of lynching that took place in the 1930s. Then there was his indefensible herding of 125,000 people of Japanese descent, 2/3 of whom were United States citizens, into concentration camps during World War II. Social Security and concentration camps. How am I supposed to balance that out? Like Lincoln, I love the FDR story in too many ways to count. But a favorite president? I don't think so. Finally, I am awed by Lyndon Johnson's achievements in the 1960s. A Civil Rights Act, a Voting Rights Act, a Fair Housing Act, Medicare for seniors, Medicaid for the poor, and a fresh immigration law that brought millions of wonderful people into the American experience. But obviously, I must factor in LBJ's horrific escalation of the war in Vietnam, a futile intervention that killed over 58,000 U.S. service members, millions of Vietnamese, and the optimism and hope of a generation of Americans. There's a snarky saying about averages. If you put one foot in a bucket of hot coals and another in a bucket of dry ice, on average, you're comfortable. But how can I be comfortable with declarations of racial superiority, corralling U.S. citizens into concentration camps, and dragging the country into pointless wars?
In the end, ranking presidents and coming up with your favorite president forces you to average out the good and the bad. And that doesn't make any sense. So I'll praise presidents when I think that they did something good, and I'll criticize them when I think that they did something bad. But I think I'll leave the picking favorite presidents game to others.
We still don't get it.